Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war.
What a toxic civilization we are living in, Michael. Utterly barbaric and toxic. It's a shame that we're not talking about the substance of what this man's done. And obviously this is meant to be about justice. Right now, the Taliban is recapturing Afghanistan. Britain and the United States and their allies went there 20 years ago, actually a month after 9/11 effectively. And we've been there for 20 years. Britain only spent about 35 billion, which is obviously an immense amount of money. It's about £2,000 per family, per household. But together, $2 trillion was spent in Afghanistan. 100,000 Afghan civilians died. I think more than 2,000 US combat personnel died. More than 430, 50 British combat personnel died. Many more got PTSD, lost limbs, etc., etc. Profound, devastating loss. And people like Julian Assange and WikiLeaks were trying to expose the military war machine, the commercial military war machine behind that intervention, behind war in Iraq, and show actually they didn't go there with good intentions, generally speaking, and they certainly weren't playing by the book. And that war machine can't allow Julian Assange to get away with it. And so we are now living in a world where the goodies, the people who uphold justice, are the ones that went to Afghanistan, spent $2 trillion. Actually, nothing changed, except now the Taliban have Humvees and Apache helicopters. They didn't 20 years ago. So who are the good guys? Julian Assange, who exposed that? Or these other people who profit from war?
HKIA remains secure. It is currently open for military flight operations as well as limited commercial flight operations. Throughout the night, 9 C-17s arrived, delivering equipment and approximately 1,000 troops. Additionally, 7 C-17s departed. These flights lifted approximately 700 to 800 passengers, and we can confirm 165 of these passengers are American citizens. The rest are a mix of SIV applicants, third country nationals. Responding to the situation at HKIA, our initial focus was to insert forces and equipment. As part of this force flow concludes, the speed of evacuation will pick up. Right now, we're looking at 1 aircraft per hour in and out of HKIA. We predict that our best effort could look like 5,000 to 9,000 passengers departing per day. But we are mindful that a number of factors influence this effort, and circumstances could change. We will keep you updated.
I'm always concerned for Julian's health. He's been having to go through incredible hardship for the 7 years that he was in the Ecuadorian embassy. It was a small apartment, no outdoor space. He didn't have any sunlight for 7 years. And then he was dragged to Belmarsh, and he hasn't stepped outside Belmarsh other than in the courtroom since April 2019. Belmarsh is a horrible, grim place that exists to isolate people, to crush their hope. It has, I think, 3 times the average prison suicide rate, 3 times more than the average UK prison. Julian's lost a friend in Belmarsh prison in November 2020, committed suicide. And that's because it's a terrible environment. And he has very little stimulation. He describes it as sensory deprivation. He describes prison as a meat processing factory. They just keep them alive.
近日，俄罗斯塔利班发言人周二表示， 外国必须协助阿富汗的重建，因为他们对造成阿富汗的破坏负有责任。想请问中方是否会参与阿富汗的重建，在何种条件下会参与？ In the past few days, the situation in Afghanistan has experienced major changes. After 4 decades plus war and turmoil, the Afghan people yearn for peace and stability. China hopes that all factions in the country will work to resolve differences through dialogue and consultation and prevent new conflict and humanitarian disaster, and work for a steady transition of the situation. As a friendly and close neighbor and true friend of Afghanistan, China always upholds a friendly policy towards the entire Afghan people, which will never change. We will continue to support peaceful reconstruction in Afghanistan and, to the best of our capability, assist Afghanistan in its economic and social development. Next question, please.
الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا وقالوا لن يدخل الجنة إلا من كان هودا أو نصارى تلك أمانيهم قل هاتوا برهانكم إن كنتم صادقين